Welcome to Perspective X, news for Gen X by Gen X. And remember, if you wear a helmet while riding a bicycle, you've got a soft head. So I'm going to get straight away, we'll get right into it. This is a local outlet, news source, Break the Chains Media. I know the guy who runs it. He does weekly podcasts. And they're for local issues. This one, however, is a video from Portland, Oregon. And I'm bringing this up because this is something I believe is rampant around the country. This isn't just Portland. This isn't just Denver. This is any city of any size where Democrats have taken control. This is what we're going to run into. So let's hear what the nice lady has to say.
When the governor of Oregon and the mayor of Portland, Oregon tell us all that this town is peaceful, that Oregon is a peaceful place, and Portland especially is a peaceful place, I want to tell you exactly why Portland is a peaceful place. Well, it's peaceful because everything is gone. Every business is shut down. Restaurants are shut down. And the people that are only roaming the streets here in Portland, Oregon, they're the ghosts. They're the zombies that Portland, Oregon has allowed to take over this city. Here in Portland, it was legal to do drugs. They literally got people addicted to drugs here in this state, especially in this city. So the only people roaming the streets here are the ghosts, the zombies. Would it be beneficial for President Trump to come in and help clean up this city? It sure would, because maybe he could do something about the zombies that are roaming the street, that are making it so people don't want to come down to Portland. Who wants to come and run a business down here when everything is vacant, where it's dangerous just to come and park your car? Yeah, Portland, Oregon does need a little bit of help. I'm not making this up just for a video. I'm showing you exactly what it's like in Portland, Oregon, because everything looks just like this. Everything is abandoned. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
So, yeah, and I can say the same thing is true where I live here in Denver. There are a lot of abandoned storefronts downtown in the areas that that used to be very vibrant. And I'm a libertarian. I have no problem with drugs being legal. It is the individual's choice. If they want to get addicted to hard drugs, then they suffer the consequences. I don't think that the government and us as taxpayers should pay for their recovery or housing or anything else. If they're a problem, they need to be arrested and put in jail. If they're not a problem, then it's like being drunk. It's like being an alcoholic. If you're not a problem, you should be able to take care of yourself. Yeah, okay, I understand. There are a lot of people who have problems with that. Fine, I understand that. What this leads into is the next story. And the next story is also local. This one's local for Denver. But it's, again, I think it's an important story to tell because I believe that this is going to be happening everywhere Democrats hold sway. Currently, and again, some drugs are legal in Colorado. We were like the first state to legalize recreational pot. I have no problem with that. Being Gen X, I smoked pot when I was a teenager. All of us did at one point or another. We've all smoked pot, right? We know what it does. It's no worse than alcohol. Mushrooms are legal to possess. You can't sell them and you can't buy them, but they're legal to possess in Denver, which of course makes it very odd. How are you going to possess them if you don't buy them and no one can sell them? But I also understand that hallucinogenics have a place, especially in healthcare and well-being, and for that matter, spiritual pursuits. There's a place for all of that. Everything done properly, in moderation and supervised properly, there's no problem. the issue happens when, well, human nature. There are a lot of people who just cannot be relied upon to be self-responsible. We all know this. So the Democrats came in, they legalized pot, they legalized psilocybin, and a few other things. Now they'd like to come in and they'd like to legalize prostitution. Again, I don't have a problem with the concept of legal prostitution, because as a concept, prostitution is a victimless crime. It is the market, the free market, being the free market. Someone wants sex, someone's willing to give sex, they agree upon a price, they have sex. I don't have a problem with that. Where I have a problem is the typical issues that arise around it. And this is one of them. So, Aaron for Parental Rights posts that, FYI, the bill to decriminalize prostitution statewide in Colorado appears to have been brought forward by Tiara, a proud drag queen and prostitute from Colorado Springs who pimps out little boys dressed as girls to dance for tips from adults. Okay, that's not good. That's not what prostitution should be. That's not what prostitution is. That is illegal. That is immoral. That should never happen. Should never happen. So if we go here to this one. Oh, maybe it's just, this is a post from Tiara Latrice Kelly. Hello, folks. We have a bill in Colorado moving decriminalization of sex work onto the floor. Please read and support. No swerf, no turf. We do it for Marsha P. Johnson. I have no idea who that is. All right, so then we move on and we go a little further. Dig a little further. Let me narrate a nightmare for you. Bread and Roses is supporting the prostitution bill. They are possibly the main stakeholders. Bread and Roses introduced us to Tiara. Of the felons should be able to change Bread and Roses introduced us to Tiara of the felons should be able to change their names because of gender. Tiara is pictured in the DP article on the prostitution bill. The DP being Denver Post. Why? So Tiara, I believe we have a picture of her. There she is. Tiara here, transgender drag queen who inspired bill to make name changes easier for trans felons in Colorado, has lengthy criminal record. Imagine that. This is, unfortunately, I'm seeing this as a way for people to get out of responsibility for the things they have done. That's really what this is all about. First, this person wants transgender people to be wants felons to be able to change their names because of transgender. Okay, fine. As long as there's an audit trail, as long as there's a paper trail that says that Jane Smith used to be John Smith, and John Smith was convicted of whatever. Okay, but again, being the libertarian I am, I also believe that if a person is dangerous to society, they should not be allowed out in society. They should be put away. So if Jane Smith is released from prison, that should mean that they are no longer a danger to society. So I don't care what they do. I really don't. Unfortunately, because of the political situation, the political people we have, no one seems to think about that. Certainly Democrats. I mean, we saw it. We saw it at the State of the Union. Democrats don't think more than one move ahead. They're only focused on what they're doing now. If it's beyond what's going on now, they don't know, they don't care, it doesn't matter. They'll worry about that later. Living for the moment, I believe, is what they call that. And it's fine if it's just you, but when you're in charge of making laws, That is not acceptable. So, yeah. So, it looks like what is going on here is this person, let's see here. Sarah Fields posts, his criminal record obtained by the Publica shows that Dwayne Antonio Kelly has been convicted of driving without a valid license, criminal trespassing, forgery, possession of controlled substances, and several instances of prostitution and lewdness. Well, okay. So all are, as far as I know, misdemeanors. Criminal trespassing might not be. Forgery, I guess, is not. Forgery is a felony. So, okay. My question is, what is this person doing out of prison if they are a danger to society? If they are a danger to society, they need to be in prison. Simple as that. If they are a threat to people, as in, this person appears to have only committed nonviolent crimes. Okay, fine. But if they're a violent felon, why are we even bothering with? This goes back to something that has been bothering me for decades. Our pissant gay governor and the governor before him, who is now our senator, and the governor before him, all passed down. So we used to have the death penalty here in Colorado until the Democrats took over. And we had a person, Nathan Dunlop, who has been on death row for 40 years. Because in the 1980s, when I was a teenager, he walked into a Chuck E. Cheese's after hours, and I believe he wanted to rob the place, but ended up killing all the kids that were working there. 3 or 4 of them. That's a person that needs to die. The society has stated he needs to die. He got the death penalty. He was convicted of the crime. He needs to die. Society demands it. But, our hard-on-sleeve Democrats, bleeding heart liberals, as they are, the first couple of governors, because we still had the death penalty, said, no, I'm gonna let this set here. They could have signed his death certificate. They could have said, yes, we need to kill this guy. He deserves to die for his crimes. No, I'm not gonna do that. So the first guy passed it on to the second guy. Second guy was Hickenlooper. He was governor for 8 years. He's now our senator. He got elected in the last election. That's how stupid these people in Colorado are. I say that as a native of Colorado. The people who moved here from California are fucking idiots. But, because they don't learn. But, okay, fine. He passed it on. And then they elected Governor Polis. Limp-wristed Polis, who only cares about gay pride and transgender rights, and of course, by the time he got in, he signed the law that the Democrat legislature passed, saying, "Oh, we want to get rid of capital punishment. We no longer need a death penalty." So he's off the hook. It is now not possible to extract justice from this man sitting on death row. He will live the rest of his life on death row at our expense. That's not justice. That's not justice. This is what happens when you elect Democrats to run your city, your state. And it doesn't stop here. It goes on to decriminalization of prostitution, which again, in theory, I don't have a complaint to it. I don't have a problem with. What I have a problem with is the crime and the fact that the Democrats, because they don't think of anything except what's right there in front of them, are not going to think about all the crime like this. This person obviously wants prostitution illegal so that he can prostitute little boys to men who want to have sex with little boys. That's what he wants to do. That's the whole reason behind this. No. 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 This person, honestly, should also be on death row for crimes of prostituting little boys to men. Should be on death row. Should be killed for their crimes. And I'm not afraid to say that. You do not touch children. You protect children. That's the other thing. Just to point out how stupid our state legislature is. A couple of weeks ago, they had the opportunity to pass a bill into law specifically for protecting children from predators. That was the entire point of the bill. Well, they said no. No, we're not interested. And immediately took up this bill to legalize prostitution. What's wrong with this picture? Well, we're going the way of Chicago. We're going the way of Portland. We're going the way of San Francisco. We're going the way of LA. We're going the way of New York. And we all know what's going on in New York City now. New York City? Yeah, New York City. This is what happens when you elect Democrats and they take charge. They run roughshod over everything. Hell, the mountains of Colorado are not the mountains I remember because they've changed all the fucking names. There is no longer Mount Evans because, I don't know, apparently he was a racist or something. Okay, well, we're going to call it Mount Blue Sky. The fuck? You're naming it after a social media platform? Are you out of your fucking minds? Stapleton, until they built the new airport, Denver International Airport, the airport in Denver was called Stapleton, named after, I want to say, a governor of Colorado from the 20s or 30s. And the area was still called Stapleton after the airport was torn down. Well, apparently he was also a racist, so we can't call it. We're going to call that Central Park. Central Park is in New York City. I've been there. It's a nice place. Well, it was a nice place 26 years ago. Put it that way. Well, actually 25. I was there in May of 2001. Yeah, 4 months before 9/11. At the time, Central Park, in May, late May, during the day, was an all right place to hang out. But yeah, it's in New York City. It's not in Denver. This is what Democrats do. They take your nice state, your nice city, your nice town, and they turn it into a shithole. Denver is a shithole. Didn't used to be, but it is now. Colorado's a shithole. Didn't used to be, but it is now. I love the responses to this. So Polis and his token legislatures are listening to drag queens and hookers to run Colorado and make legislation. You can't make this shit up. No, you can't. What is the greater story on bread and roses? Let's see what it says. It's a Colorado taxpayer money subsidized LGBTQ advocacy group. At Grok, tell us about Bread and Roses organization in Colorado. What the funding admin costs? Yeah, okay. Apparently Grok's not going to answer. But so yes, Bread and Roses is apparently an LGBTQ advocacy group subsidized by Colorado taxpayers. Imagine that. Another NGO. Yeah, people are not happy about this, and I don't blame them. Like I said, in theory, at a surface level, I don't have a problem with legal prostitution. If two people want to have sex and one wants to pay the other for that service, I don't have a problem with that. In theory, the problem is is the people who are bringing this forward. The problem is why they're bringing it forward, what they're going to gain from it. Well, okay. I mean, I have to. Well, I was going to say, I have to believe that prostituting children is still going to be a crime, but considering that the Colorado legislature just said no to a bill to protect children from predators, maybe it won't be. Maybe they'll add that into this bill too. Anyone of any age can legally be part of prostitution. Wouldn't that be wonderful? As Trump said, these people are crazy. This is just one aspect of their craziness. This is why we can't have nice things. All right, so let's go on to our last story. Yeah, I know. Ilhan Omar. I have no idea who this lady is.
ICE is a creation of a department that was dismantled, and I think it is time for us to dismantle ICE and work on creating immigration enforcement that is lawful, that is humane, and that treats people with the justice and dignity that they deserve.
This is what you get when you elect people with an IQ of 67.7. She wants to replace ICE with something that is lawful. ICE is lawful. Apprehending, detaining, and deporting illegal aliens is lawful in every country in the world. But again, she ran as a Democrat not because her city is run by Democrats, but because the Republicans wouldn't have her. I would be curious to find out if there are any Somali Republicans. I would be curious because I can't believe I'm just going to say it. These people are idiots. When you have an IQ of 67.7, literally room temperature IQ, this is the crap you get. You get the Leering Center with no kids. So, the reason I came on to went through here, this is the actual post. I wanted to show you the replies to this post. Okay? She says, abolish ICE. We need an immigration system that is lawful, humane, and treats people with the justice and dignity they deserve. ICE does. Absolutely, ICE does. And no one had a problem with it when Obama was doing it. No one had a problem with it when Biden was doing it, but Biden wasn't doing it. No one had a problem with it when Democrats were doing this. It's only when the Republicans do it, specifically when Trump does it. Okay, because, Trump is a 1990s Democrat. Anyone who looks at him sees that. He has the same attitudes, the same outlooks that Bill Clinton had in the 1990s when he was president. Yeah. 45 years ago, more than that, when Ronald Reagan ran for president, someone brought up the fact that when he was an actor, he was a Democrat. He said, yeah. And they said, well, why did you leave? Why did you become a Republican? He says, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. It left me. This has been true for at least 50 years. These people who are still Democrats, still in the Democrat Party, are either in it because they have power, or they're too stupid to see what's going on. Because all the smart ones have left. They're either there because they see that they can gain power, or they're there because they vote blue no matter who. So of course, the replies on this are just epic. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat, one crazy bitch. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the Gates guy. If you think Ilhan Omar should be prosecuted and deported, like this reply. Yes, I did. Every time I see her face, I think of what they did to our soldiers when we brought them food. Somalia, 1993. You remember Black Hawk Down? So yeah, this is absolutely classic. These people are crazy. Absolutely out of their fucking minds. This is what happens when you let Democrats when you give Democrats any form of power. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I will be back on Monday with more news and fun. Hopefully fun. Today was just kind of depressing. But until then, have a wonderful day.